Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Joyful Jessie. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you all how is it that I'm going to be making my chuletas fritas, my Puerto Rican style fried pork chops. So make sure to stick around and watch. Alright my friends, these are the ingredients that we are going to be using to make our chuletas fritas today. I have about four. I would say these are thinly cut. I've had thicker pork chops than these, but this is just assorted pork chops. I have four of them right here, ready to go. You can use more, but I'm just going to be frying four. We have some sazon, a packet of sazon that I will be using. You don't have to use the whole packet. You can use half of the packet. Sometimes I use it all, sometimes I don't. It all depends. But today, I'm gonna see how, depending on how I see how much did it take for me to use. I'm going to be using some oregano, garlic powder, some onion powder, some adobo, and then I'm also going to be using a little bit of vinegar. Anytime I marinate something, I use vinegar. And this particular one, I am going to be letting sit in the fridge for at least between maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I've done it other times straight from work and I just season it and fry it right away when I don't have the time to let it sit in the refrigerator. So don't feel like you have to let it sit. So let's go ahead and get started. I also forgot to mention that we are going to be using some canola oil today to do our frying. All right, so my first step here, I have my four little chuletas, my pork chops here, my assorted pork chops. And I'm just gonna use the tongs. I don't wanna get my hands too dirty here, but you can use your hands or a glove or however you wanna do this. I'm going to take my sazon packet and I'm going to start with about spreading some. I move around, bring my other one upward. And like I said, you don't have to use the whole packet of sazon. If you don't want to, I know some people don't like the MSG, or you can use one that doesn't have MSG. Okay, so I'm not gonna use the whole packet since these are rather thin. I'm gonna move them around. Then I'm going to be adding my seasoning. And oh my goodness, I usually just go like this and try to spread it that way and just go by sight. But I'm gonna try to use measuring spoons today just to give you an estimate of what I'm actually going to be using. So I'm gonna start with 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, so 1/4 teaspoon of the garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of the onion powder. I think I'm just gonna do 1/4 everything at this rate. Because that seemed pretty good. 1/4 teaspoon of the oregano. Oregano is so good. Yeah, let me see. And the same thing for the onion powder. We're gonna do the 1/4 cup. For the adobo, let's start with the 1/4 teaspoon and then we'll move it around, okay? Let me see. I do this usually. Yep. Move this one. Okay. I think 1/4 teaspoon of the adobo is going to be just right for me. I don't usually make things super mega salty. So please do feel free to adjust to whatever your liking is. If you feel like it needs a little bit of salt, go ahead and add a little bit of salt. If you feel like it needs a little bit of pepper or any other spices, go for it. Now, I think for the vinegar, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon for the vinegar, okay? At least for the time being. Oops, well, a little over a teaspoon, my bad. And then I'm gonna just move it around and get all those seasonings mixed in very well. You don't have to add the vinegar if you don't want to, I guess, but I don't know. I always feel like vinegar is always good for everything. I think it needs a little bit more, 1/2 teaspoon. Let's see, I did a teaspoon. I'm gonna do another half a teaspoon. And then all the stuff that spilled over. So let's call it let's call it 2.5 teaspoons. All right, just enough so it has a little bit of juice. Yeah, there we go, much better. We're gonna be covering them up and we are going to let them sit in the refrigerator for about 45 minutes to an hour. If you need to eat these right now, go right ahead. They don't have to sit there for in the fridge to be enjoyed. They still taste good. All right, my chuletas are done marinating. I went ahead and got them out of the fridge. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn my stove up to a medium high. I'm gonna be using this deep kind of pot type of thing. You can use a pan, but today it does splatter a little bit and I don't want it to make my stove too messy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do enough oil to cover the bottom. Maybe like it depends how much deepness you want into it. I'm gonna do about half an inch of oil and I'm gonna heat it up at about a medium high. I'm using a deep pot just because it will splatter a little bit sometimes, and just to avoid the mess around my stove, I'm going to go ahead and do that. You don't have to use a deep pot. You can just simply use a pan if you would like to. And I know that there are those little splatter covers that you can use on your pan to avoid getting things too messy, but this is just the way I'm going to do it today. So I'm going to let the oil heat up for about 1 or 2 minutes. All right, now that our oil is nice and hot, we are going to start putting our chuletas in it. The cooking time for these are gonna vary depending on how thick your chuletas are. Mine are not very thick at all, so mine are going to be quick to cook. But when you get the thicker ones, they do take a little bit longer to fry. And the bones on these particular ones, they're not very big either. They're rather small. Sometimes when the bone is bigger, it does take longer too. So I'm gonna fry mine and I'll let you know how long did each side actually take to cook. All right, my friends, it has been currently about 5 minutes on this side and I'm going to go ahead and flip now. So this side only took about 3 to 4 minutes to cook. So it's gonna cook according to whatever the thickness of yours are and how hot is it that your oil is getting. And I think these puppies are ready to come out. I'm simply going to put them on a little container with some, you can use paper towels, you can use, parchment paper, whatever. All right, my friends, look at these beauties. How nice and golden they are, ready to be enjoyed. I am serving the fried pork chops today, las chuletas fritas, with some white rice and black beans. If you would like to see how I typically make my black beans, go ahead and click on the link above. I'm gonna go ahead and put this little piggy over here and give it a yummy try. It looks so, so good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and give this yumminess a try, and today I have Noah here with me to enjoy it. All right, let's see. Let me drop this fork. Get it for me? Yeah, sure. Right here. All right, now what do you think?
It's good.
It's good. Mammy thinks it's good too. So we're gonna go ahead. It's very good. So we're gonna go ahead and sit down and enjoy it. And now it's your turn to go ahead and give this a try. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.